Good morning, LinkedIn. Today I want to talk about the pros and cons of having external structures to support your habits. Okay, so specifically I'm going to speak about having somebody to whom you're accountable for a fitness habit. This morning I woke up planning on going and working out with a buddy of mine. I definitely woke up not feeling like I wanted to. I had like a 13-hour day in the trees yesterday, and I had a really strong, fairly challenging workout on the night of the previous day that I was definitely feeling. I was feeling the effects of both of those things first thing this morning. And so I wake up and I just like, oh my goodness, I have to get up. I have to get up early because I have to do some office work before I go work out because I have field work this afternoon and the office work is time sensitive, and all these things are going through my head, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I do not want to be the one who cancels, right? And that right there, that's the first major benefit to having some person to whom you're accountable other than yourself, because you can, I'm sure every one of you watching this can attest to this, but I'll speak explicitly to it anyway. For reasons that I am not qualified to comment on, we always find it easier to lie to ourselves or let ourselves down than we do other people. And I don't know why it is, but it is true. So, for example, how many times have you gone and said, I'm going to work out at such and such time, or I'm going to do such and such thing? Like, let's say I'm going to get up at 6:30 every morning and I'm going to work out for 30 minutes for the next 2 weeks, right? And then how many times has that habit or that attempt at that habit kind of fallen flat? You know, you do it the first 2 days, first 3 days, then by day 4, something gets in the way. Well, so ask yourself this: if you had a person with whom you were going to do that. So it's like, I'm going to wake up at 6, I'm going to meet Timmy at 6:30. I don't know why Timmy's a child, or I don't know why your workout partner's a child, but anyway, so I'm going to meet Tim or Taylor. Taylor's a nice gender neutral name, right? So I'm going to meet Taylor at the gym at 6:30 and we're going to work out. And frankly, there's a much higher likelihood of success. I bet you somebody's got numbers out there to point to this, but I know from my own experience, I know from working as a personal trainer many years ago, that one of the biggest benefits to that external accountability is we're much less likely to back out on that other person. But here's the catch, right? So if you become dependent upon the external validation, what happens when it goes away? Or not validation, external accountability, what happens when it goes away? So your external accountability disappears for a day or for a week or whatever. Does your habit stick? So in my case, this morning, when I snoozed my alarm a couple times because I was exhausted, and said to myself, okay, the latest possible time I could wake up is 7. And it rolls around to 7 o'clock, and I look at my phone finally, and I actually look at it rather than just hitting snooze on it. And I realize my buddy has canceled because he's sick. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going back to sleep. So I slept until 8, right? And just full disclosure on my lifestyle, I have a boom bust when it comes to sleep. I have to get up at 5 or earlier on field days, and then on days when I don't have field work first thing in the morning, I usually do sleep in. And because I have a home office, I work when the work needs doing, which means pardon me, some days I'm working until 7:38 at night, and some days I'm working until 3 p.m. and I'm done early and I go outside. So don't think too badly of me for not being up too early. I promise that some days I am up early. And, you know, here's a funny thing. Here I am kind of giving you more context so that you won't think ill of me. And so I'm even seeking your external support in sort of showing you my daily habits as far as productivity goes. And so it's interesting, like we have a need. I don't know. We could probably wax about this. I think it's probably better to do so in the comments, because if I wax about this, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. But it'd be interesting to talk in the comments about why we need that. What is it that we're doing that for? What are the reasons that drive me to give you that context so that you don't think I'm just a slacker? Or what is the reason for not wanting to let down our training partner to whom we've committed time, right? So back to the topic at hand, the downside of that external accountability is if that external accountability disappears suddenly, your habit that was grounded in it may not persist on its own. So I did not work out this morning. Now, I am going to go climb for numerous hours this afternoon. And so for me, frankly, at this stage in my life, my workout habit is I am consistent over the long haul. I am not consistent over the short haul, and that works just fine for me. So what I mean by that is I'm working out something like, what is it? If you do 2 times, so for every month, I probably get 8 workouts, 8 to 10 to 12. Depends on the month, right? Versus 3 days a week, right? So 3 days a week would get you 16 workouts. If it's a 4-week month, maybe we'll call it a 5-week month, because that's actually probably more accurate. It's like 4.5. So 16, we'll call it 20 workouts a month. I probably get 10, but I'm so active with work that works for me. And what I find is some weeks I'll work out 3 or even 4 times a week, and some weeks I'll work out 1, and that's fine also. And that's what I mean by long haul versus short haul in this context. So I am not at all bent out of shape about having not worked out this morning, because I actually probably will work out tonight when I get home. And if I don't, I'll work out tomorrow. And if I don't, I'll work out on Friday. It will happen. And I can say with confidence that it will happen because this is the pattern that I have been in for some time. And the working out with a friend is really just an opportunistic thing rather than the grounding of my habit. And so that's, I guess, where I'm trying to get at here is, can you ground your habit in something other than just the external accountability? I think the external accountability is super useful. And in fact, one of the biggest reasons I was going to go is because it was going to be fun. Like, I was going to go work out with my buddy because I would enjoy it, not because I needed to. And I think that fun is one of the most underrated motivating factors when it comes to health and fitness and wellness. And I'll talk about that some other time, but you're going to hear me talk about this a lot. I'm going to be just driving at fun over and over and over and over again. I believe that fun is necessary, and I believe that willpower is finite without fun. If you have the will, I admire it. But my question is, are you mining a finite resource when you're using your will only? And if you're using fun, is fun replenishing that resource? And I think that there's something there, and we'll unpack that later, but I do think there's something there. So, comment about any of this stuff. Like I said, we can dig into the why it is that we will lie to ourselves or let ourselves down so much more easily than we will somebody else. We can dig into why it is that I, even in my position of, fairly significant confidence and I don't worry a lot about other people's validation, and even yet I sit here saying that, but I showed you that I do with my actions, because as soon as I start talking about when I wake up, I had to qualify it and give you the context, right? I did that to save my own face. And then we can talk a little bit about fun. Like, what are your thoughts on fun in the context of habits, of new habits, of health and wellness and fitness, etc. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back on tomorrow morning.